Hello and welcome to First Time Mums Chat. If you're new here, I'm Helen Thompson, a childcare educator with over 20 years of experience, a nanny and baby massage instructor. And this podcast was created to support mums right at the beginning of their parenting journey. First Time Mums Chat isn't about perfect routines or doing things the right way. It's about understanding your baby, trusting yourself and finding calm and confidence in the early months, especially when things feel overwhelming or uncertain. Welcome new mums and mums-to-be. Parenting can feel overwhelming, especially in today's fast-paced world where support may feel out of reach. I'm Helen Thompson, childcare educator and baby massage instructor, and I created First Time Mums Chat to be your companion through this incredible journey. Since 2021, I've been here to share practical, holistic insights designed to make those first months, especially from 4 weeks to 10 months, just a bit easier. Through this podcast, I help you feel more connected to your baby while easing ups and downs of early motherhood. Join me and a lineup of amazing experts as we tackle your biggest questions, share real stories and other advice to help you step confidently into motherhood. Motherhood can be challenging, but you don't have to do it alone. Let's dive in and embrace this journey together. Before we begin, please remember that this podcast is for informational purposes only, and it is not a substitute for medical advice. If you have any concerns about your or your baby's health, please consult a qualified medical professional. Today's episode is a special one. It's episode 200. And rather than celebrating in a big or emotional way, I wanted this episode to feel like a calm hello, a chance to pause, reset, and step gently into a new year of content together. If you've ever wondered, am I doing enough? Or why does this feel harder than I expected? This episode is for you. So wherever you're listening, while feeding, walking with the pram, or taking a quiet moment to yourself, I'm really glad you're here. This episode isn't about doing more this year. It's about creating space for you, for me, and for the way this podcast continues to support first-time mums. One thing I want to acknowledge as we move into this new year is how much quiet pressure first-time mums carry. The pressure to know what you should be doing, to feel one step ahead, to worry when you don't. And something I've reflected on through this podcast and through my own work is that motherhood doesn't actually ask that of us. It asks us to show up imperfectly, consistently, in our own way. You don't need to keep up to be doing this well. You don't need to consume everything or remember every tip. This space isn't here to add more. It's here to meet you where you are. Something I keep noticing in my day-to-day work with babies is the difference between engagement and overwhelm. When things feel settled, when the pace is slower and the environment feels predictable, I see babies smiling more, engaging more, and really taking things in. When babies feel safe and settled, their bodies aren't working so hard to process what's around them. They're not bracing for the next noise, movement, or change. So they have space to look, listen, and connect, which is so valuable. Many mums notice this at home too. These moments when everything slows down and suddenly their baby feels more present, more relaxed, more themselves. And when things feel too busy, too fast, or overstimulating, I don't see babies who are difficult. I see babies who are overwhelmed. They cry. They scream. They become unsettled. Not because something is wrong, but because it's simply too much for their nervous system to process. It's been quite a reminder to me that babies don't need us to do more or be more. They need us to slow down enough to really see them. to notice who they are, how they respond, and what helps them to feel safe to be themselves. When we offer steadiness and presence, babies don't have to work so hard to cope. They can simply be. Something I notice so often, both through this podcast and in my day-to-day work, is how quickly difficulty turns into self-doubt for mums. If a baby isn't calm yet or things don't feel settled, it's easy to assume you've missed something or that you should be able to fix it quickly. What I've come to understand is that calm isn't something babies arrive with fully formed. It's something they grow into through repeated experiences of being understood, responded to, and supported. And for us as parents, it often means we're learning to understand our baby just as much as they're learning to understand themselves. That growth takes time, repetition, and support, not perfection. In my day-to-day work as a nanny, including caring for twins, I'm constantly reminded how much babies respond to how we speak to them, not just what we do for them. Sometimes it's gentle explanation, sometimes it's simple narration, sometimes it's just acknowledging what they're feeling, and that last part matters more than we often realize. When feelings are brushed aside or minimized, babies can begin to experience their emotions as unimportant or learn to disconnect from them altogether. But when feelings are noticed and respected, babies learn something very powerful, that what they feel matters and that they are safe to express it. Those early experiences quietly lay the foundation for later childhood and toddlerhood, where emotional expression, trust, and self-awareness begin to take shape. It's something I'll be gently weaving into conversations here and through visual content, as I feel it is so supportive. Alongside this podcast, I continue to work closely with babies and families through my childcare and nanny work, and that hands-on experience shaped everything I share here. What I've learned over the years is that first-time mums don't need more information. They need reassurance, context, and someone who understands how babies actually respond in real life and not just in theory. This year, I'll be also sharing more visual content on YouTube, not only around early motherhood, but also around childcare, baby development, and what I've observed through decades of working with children. Even when a topic isn't directly about being a first-time mum, it's still grounded in one core question: how do we support babies and the adults caring for them with more calm, understanding, and trust? This podcast will continue to be a place you can return to quietly, and YouTube will be a space where I can show, explain, and explore things that are sometimes easier to see than describe. As this new year begins, First Time Mums Chat is continuing, but with a gentler, more intentional rhythm. Going forward, new podcast episodes will be shared monthly instead of fortnightly, created with space, intention, and care rather than urgency. I want this podcast to feel like something you can return to when you need it, not something you feel you have to keep up with. You don't need to follow everything. You don't need to listen to it all. This space is here to support you in whatever way fits your season. I also wanted to share a little more about why I've chosen to expand into YouTube and why this podcast is moving to a monthly rhythm. Over time, I've noticed that some conversations are easier to listen to and others are easier to see. There are things I observe every day in my work with babies and families around movement, connection, communication, and emotional cues that are often clearer when shown visually rather than explained through the words alone. YouTube gives me the space to share these observations in a way that feels more natural and supportive, especially for mums who learn best by seeing and experiencing, not just listening. The YouTube channel carries the same name, First Time Mums Chat, because it's all part of the same space, just shared in a different way. You can find the channel at mybabymassage.net/YouTube. It's all part of the same space. Every episode of this podcast is available there, so nothing is changing. One of the reasons I'm leaning into YouTube is the sense of connection it allows. Over the years, it's been quite difficult to create conversation and community within the podcast space, even though I know so many mums are listening quietly. I'm hopeful that the YouTube environment might make it easier for first-time mums to comment, share experiences, and gently support one another, whether that's through questions, reflections, or small pieces of advice that have helped along the way. This isn't about changing what first-time mums chat is. It's about creating more opportunities for connection in a way that feels natural and supportive. You're always welcome to join in or simply listen quietly. Both matter. And if leaving a comment ever feels right for you, I'd love to hear your voice there. Before we finish, I'll leave you with a gentle takeaway. Not something to do, but something to notice. Over the next few days, see if you can notice just one moment where things slow down, even briefly, and your baby feels a little more settled or present. You don't need to change anything, just notice it. Sometimes awareness alone is enough. Wherever you are right now, whether things feel settled, uncertain, or somewhere in between, you're doing important work, quiet work that doesn't always get seen but matters deeply. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to feel confident every day. Showing up again and again is enough. And if no one has told you this today, let me say it clearly. You are doing enough, and thank you for being here.